Hello, everyone, and welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. My name is Anya, my pronouns are she, her, and I will be your guiding voice today. We are going to be playing Under the Floorboards by Chris Bissett from Loot the Room, where we are playing 2-inch tall floorboard folk living in the Biggs world and borrowing from them to survive. This is a fluffy game of exploration and found family. We have throughout this mini campaign 1 physical copy and 5 digital copies of the game to give away, 1 for each episode, courtesy of Chris himself. And today we have 1 PDF to give away to someone in the chat. So to enter the giveaway for the digital copy today, type !floorboards with an S into the chat. So then let's go around and have everyone introduce themselves. Now we are down Tina today, unfortunately, but let's start with Natalie.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm straight for Big Back On. I am tired. And today I'm playing Pen, they, them, and they are our wonderful risk-taking scout who we very much established loves to jump onto things.
Indeed they do. Then let's go over to Brandy. Well, sorry, your name is Brandy on the screen now, so yeah.
I'll be whoever you want me to
Caden.
be. Hi, I'm Caden. They, them pronouns. I will be playing Brandy, the transporter, she, her.
Okay, and then Lola.
Hi, I'm Lola. fortunately a lot less tired today than I was last time. But yes, pronouns they them. And Spinnaker I will be playing, who is the builder of the group, also pronouns they them.
Perfect. So, last time under the floorboards, Dusty discovered a veritable treasure trove of goodies in a playroom on the ground floor. Penn found and broke a mini flamingo from the building block dream house that they found there, and a small pig came into the room asking their auntie to play. And the Tuffets narrowly escaped with all manner of fun things for their new home. So I'm going to go ahead and do our establishing question, which is one of the things with Under the Floorboards. So my question for you all today is, if you squeeze behind the walls of your house and clamber up beyond the old mouse nest, you can peer out of an old dirty window into the garden outside. What excites you and what scares you as you look out on the garden here?
So we have established that there is a lake nearby.
There's a pond
pond.
that is lake sized to you, yes.
Yes. So a lake.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lake nearby. And I think what Spinnaker is very excited about is the roots of the brush, the brush there, because they make for very good, like, fabric for weaving and rope, and generally very hardy, a good tanning. So also sometimes they just provide a very nice fresh smell for here, like their various houses. So they are like, I'm gonna get some of those when I go outside.
Mm-hmm. And anything that scares Spinnaker out there?
The bigness of it. And I guess whilst there are lots of places to hide somewhat, there are also more outside dangers that Spinnaker is a little bit less capable of running from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brandy, do you have something? I see the hand.
I think Brandy is most excited about all the things that they could acquire, like just twigs and stuff that we could use for building and decorating and stuff. And most afraid of the big empty spaces in the garden, like the pathways and the
Mm-hmm.
grass. And it's scary.
And Penn?
I think Penn is very much excited for the discovery of things because we've kind of been in our houses. We did travel a little bit to get to this one, but we didn't really take a break to spread out because we needed a home. So Penn would be super excited to find out what the quacking things are like, if there's any of the ribbity creatures around or any of the little prickly back things around, and of course the pond sides.
Mm-hmm.
And what Penn would be most afraid of is probably when, like, the large birds, like the very large birds that seem to like to get into things a lot. Because I feel like they would be super curious about us in a way that we don't want them to be curious.
Very fair. So, as you all are thinking about this, one section under the floorboards that you haven't ventured to is one that you had seen when you were first moving into the house, a far corner of what you know to be under the living room that you have been in, but up in the Biggs house above. It seems from what you've seen from a distance like a dusty, forgotten space, like it hasn't been walked through in a very long time. So, another question here is, what draws you all to visit it today? Could be mere curiosity, or maybe you're chasing after Eek or what have you.
I would say that it is just the curiosity, like wanting to get to know this new home of ours and explore, like actively exploring, because forewarned is preparation, essentially.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and for Penn, knowing and seeing that this space isn't used a lot, it means we can have a little more freedom to really explore it compared to the other rooms of the house. So we might be able to find more useful things we can borrow.
Okay. And for this one, I would say that there's no real like scouting section here because this is your first time venturing out here, and it's not like with the typical expedition format that Under the Floorboards has, where you scout out a space in the Big's house and then go, and then you have to test your luck. All of that isn't really here. So you, the three of you, venture forward. Dusty once again off with Eek, as they are wont to do. And as you make your way under the floorboards here, you find yourselves in what feels like a corridor that is thick with dust. There's rubble of a long forgotten wall that crosses underfoot that you have to be very careful. It's essentially like bouldering for you in places. And then there are some other paths that you're able to skirt around it. And there, the light shining through the dust motes under the house, you see a glimmer of something behind the broken down stones.
Oh,
What kind of
that's
something?
curious, isn't it?
Like, is there an easy way to get round to it?
It looks like there's just loose stone and things here. It's a very clearly very, very forgotten section down here. And where, there are crawl spaces that you've accessed before, this is inaccessible to a crawl space. So the Bigs definitely could never get under here.
Mhm.
I think Brandy will try to push some of the stones aside to make a better path
Okay.
possible.
So would you say enduring for that?
Yeah, sure. I forgot I got to do something, don't
Go ahead and roll enduring for me.
All right, where are we? La la la. 6 and a 1 and a 4 is 11.
11. You do what you intended to do. Describe what it looks like.
Oh gosh, just trying to suss out, which would be the easiest way to, push as few stones aside, but make the biggest path and
Okay.
stand back in case things go loose.
And easily enough, this is one of those things that you're kind of just made for. You're able to very carefully pick through and clear away a bunch of the rubble. It's all different sizes, some smaller pieces, some larger, but you eventually manage to clear a path out of the way. And digging through, you find yourselves in what feels almost like a time capsule of a floorboard folk family. There's no one here, but you see tuna can beds hung up along the walls, rusted and with moisture and time. There's a dining room table made of an old deck of cards, simple but serviceable. And there are old, frail magazine covers just papering the walls in here. It's clear from the dust coating all of the surfaces that no one has been here in a very long time.
It's kind of ominous.
Yeah, I wonder what forced them out.
Is there any sign? Is there any sign of them leaving in a hurry, or?
So looking around in the space, you do see that, like, not only there's that rubble at the entrance to the house, but you see that some of that rubble has also kind of entered into the home itself. Like
Right.
there
So
might have been a little bit of a
collapse.
cave-in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there any way of ascertaining where that kind of cave-in might have come from? Just to identify whether this is structurally sound or not, because
Yeah. So I would say roll perceptive for me.
okay.
Perceptive or cunning, your choice.
It's probably going to be perceptive. Not going to lie. Right. I'm rolling digital dice today, which not great. But that is a 5 on the dice plus 4, so 9.
A 9. You do what you intended to do, but with a complication or cost. So looking around, you definitely see that the space in here, whatever happened, it was a long time ago, or at least long to you. And the rubble itself is a little bit loose, but it feels sturdy to you. And glancing up, you see just a small hole in the ceiling. And I would like for you to decide what is the complication or cost with this roll.
I think, as in a small hole in the ceiling is where the rubble has fallen from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Small in the big sense, large to you.
Yeah. No, I think the complication is that it's very central, and there's no kind of easy way to access that hole from here. So it is just open, and perhaps not still kind of stable. Like there's perhaps like still small bits of rubble falling. Like like when I say small bits, I mean like just dust falling.
It's like hail to us as bigs, but still very, very thick chunks falling down, but nothing super duper dangerous there. The other thing that I'll give you that you note is that you can see very, very faintly the wall of the home. Like this is very clearly up against the wall of the house, like the very outside wall.
Okay.
So you're underneath the living room against the wall of the house.
Okay.
Do you think the Mantles might know who was here?
Oh, that's a good point. It might be worth asking. Is it Stumble and Flurry? Yeah, it might be worth asking. Though there's no sign of them, so I have to hope that they got away.
Well, let me see what I can find. Maybe there's something around here, maybe a path or something, and I'll go like look around the little home, see if maybe there's like little tunnels or other little pathways they may have taken that wasn't the fallen in route.
Okay, let's see. That sounds like a perceptive roll to me.
All right. That is 5 plus 1 plus 6 is 12.
It went from oh no to yeah okay. So looking through the space here, it's very clear that there were a number of different routes that this family, whoever they were, took throughout the house. Like you can still see, it's like when you see a deer trail that hasn't been used in a very long time. Things are still worn down with the footprints. It's just not been used in a long while. And the closest path that you find leads you directly to a hole between the stones in the wall to the outside. And you see, looking out in this space, it's a little bit more wild in the back side of the garden. And looking around, you see just in the far distance that lake and the tall trees that are kind of surrounding that space. And it's very clear that no one has touched this entrance in quite a while, but potentially that could have been a route that they took. And you scurry around to another section and you see that there is like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a web of paths that they took all throughout, just crisscrossing all around. And you find actually a like it's going up just one of those like staple ladders you find in the wall. There's actually, because I love that image, there's actually an outlet in the living room up above that is just, you're able to push it open and it's completely gutted of all of its electronics. And it's just like a little door into the living room that you didn't know was there.
Oh. I scurry my way back to everyone else. It's like, well, I found various paths, but if they haven't taken anything from their home, they may have just completely left through the outdoor way. But I did see a really fun like way through the big plasticky thing in the wall that you just push open. It's up the little ladder. So that's another way for us in and out of the living room.
Good to know.
Oh, that's very curious. Where by chance was this plasticky thing placed?
Oh, yeah,
within
over
the,
this way.
Okay. Well, Spinnaker will follow slowly. We're going up a ladder? Or is it?
Yeah, it's made of this metal stuff here. We might be able to hook and rope it to get up if we need to, but
I think it might be okay. Not tired yet. So I guess Spinnaker will get up there and kind of tentatively open it and stick their head out to try and place themselves as to where this thing is in the living room.
Yeah. And so looking around, you see that the play area, which is attached to the living room here, the doorway to that is on the far end. And you are sitting under what looks to be a lot of different electronics, like that big moving picture screen that the bigs like to watch is up above. And you see that there are large, big black boxes on the ground next to you that are easily like 20 spinnakers tall.
That is very big. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this anywhere near the mantles?
No, it's not. Y'all and the mantles are on the other side of the home.
Okay. So this isn't actually. Oh yes, because they're in the study.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Spinnaker will just take a note of that and kind of go, okay, for like in case we need to come back later, this is not an exploiting.
Mm-hmm. And it is really close to that large moving picture screen. So you can see that it's on a stand and there's a nice big to you gap between it and the wall that you can go through. There are a whole bunch of wires and things there. They're all tangled up that you'd have to be careful about. But beyond that, it is a nice, easy place to hide that you can tell the bigs don't look at terribly often.
Well, having come back down, I guess we're all together again.
So, what would you all like to do?
What do you think?
Well, we aren't so close. The other door, the one to the outside.
Mm.
If Spinnaker were to poke their head out of that one, what would they see?
Going out to where Penn was previously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, poking your head out, Spinnaker, you see the tall blades of grass going up way above you, bushes of flowers. You see kind of a number of, like, a network was the word I was looking for before, a network of paths that very clearly small critters taller than you have used to scurry around through this garden field area. But you see kind of like a narrow, worn path between the grasses here.
Is there a view of the lake, or like the brushes around the lake? Or is there no clear path to go?
Yes, and looking at it, it does appear that this path that you see is leading straight, or as straight as it can be, towards that pond/lake.
I think at that point, Spinnaker probably does get a little bit excited, and will like have a quick glance around and then be like, "Oh, okay." We'll start to head out and then be like, "Oh, Pen, I suppose you'd better take a look for. Or we could all go."
Yeah, let's all go.
Yeah.
Safety, safety in group.
So heading out into the garden then.
Yeah.
So you begin to follow along that path that you see that's going towards the pond, and you have to brush past some of the tall grasses here, as it just is like the smooth texture as you run your hands through it. It's like going through a cornfield almost. Just that size, and you make your way through the path here. It is a bright, sunshine filled morning here. You can hear the sounds of smaller birds far in the distance, just chirping, making happy bird noises, and you see like large purple and blue and pink flowers all around you, looming heavy, and it is a very calm and peaceful day. When Penn, having taken the lead, you hear this, and I'm going to try to imitate it. It will probably fail. You just hear this like hissing sounds, and just like trundling forward is this large black creature with what looks to be like shovel-like hands, and it's like sniffing around and making hissing noises. It's not quite at you all, and you can see that it very clearly is not able to see you very well, if at all, as it's just like looking, like sniffing around, trying to find, and it's just making these angry noises.
Oh, okay. We have a very agitated something here. Maybe we should find a different path.
I think Spinnaker is fully frozen because they can sort of figure out how to deal with mechanical things or electric things, sort of, maybe. Organic things?
Okay.
It's not attacking or anything like that. It's just like trundling around, sniffing in the air.
What else is around us that is like something that we're able to handle, like pick up or grab or climb?
Looking around, you see that there are a number of like sticks and things like that are like sticks to you. They're like that big, and so you can easily like snatch one of those up if you need something like to defend yourselves, or what have you.
Okay. I
So
don't
I would
know.
go
We
ahead.
should, like, slowly sidle, like, so that we go behind the creature, just like slowly.
Okay. I would say I'm trying to remember because I don't have like the mini categories here. I would say I would like everyone to roll cunning for me.
Ooh.
Just to see.
Five.
Is 5 the highest roll? What did Spinnaker get?
Well, I got a 6 actually. I rolled like a 1 on each dice, but I have a 4, so that's not actually terrible. Though it's bad still.
Yeah. Like this is the worst roll that I think that we've had in this entire game. I am
Apparently, we're not
impressed.
subtle.
This is a creature to us. We're kind of,
Well, you know what? Maybe it's not that we're not subtle. It's just that we're inside folk. And we're not practicing the ways of moving around subtly outside.
Yeah.
Yes. And the reason why I had you roll cunning is because you've never seen this kind of creature before. You have no idea what it's doing, why it's making these noises at you, but it is scary. And it's just slightly bigger than you. So angry, scary noises, not fun. For reference, if you couldn't have guessed, it's a mole. They're adorable. And I watched a video of an angry mole making noises, and it was hysterical. It was so funny. Anyway, so you all try to kind of sidle past it. You get most of the way around behind it, continuing along the path, and it just sniffs and turns and gives one last sound. I'm giving up on imitating it.
Yeah.
But kind of like a go away, and you can continue to hurry along and get out of its way.
I think just in reaction of it suddenly turning and making a sound at us, Pen makes a sound back. It's like,
I'm so glad I did not choke on my water. Oh. But as you all continue along the path here, you can, glancing behind, watch as it scurries away very, very fast, far faster than you were expecting, and then burrows quickly underground.
oh, good, my sound startled it.
Well done, Pen.
Yes, I didn't enjoy that experience, but now we know what to do next time.
Make sounds at it.
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Oh, but look, it's quite a digger. Look what it left there.
You know what? I posit that it's the shape of those very large paws, and the way that its hands are angled that allows it to do that. Perhaps there are some applications. And now Spinnaker is off in there and little kind of some applications for something of that shape for digging. Never mind, there's probably no digging that they need to do in the house.
Well, you do have a dirt floor near your home, so you could always like think of expanding.
Make our own root cellar in the root cellar.
Oh, I love that. And
That
so,
rooms.
yeah, exactly. You expand downward. And so you continue along here, and you, looking around, find yourselves kind of at the edge of, I'll call it a lake, at the edge of the lake here. There is the ground is spongy with moisture, as it's rather damp around the edges of the lake, and you see under the surface just some orange and brown fish all swimming around, going off in a flurry and coming back. You see the tall cattails looming very high above you, and off in the distance you see some ducks.
Interesting.
Sorry, did you say ducks?
Yes, ducks. Not the evil goose.
Okay.
Not
Just
the cobra
checking.
chicken. Sorry. Anyway. So as you are all looking out on the vast expanse of water here, you hear from up above, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Hello? I start looking around.
You look around and then look up, and you see dangling from the tree by a vine, a like rather narrow vine, a another floorboard folk, if you could call a floorboard folk that when they don't live under the floorboards. She is around her 30s or so. She has very rough hewn clothing on, and some nice sturdy boots that look very like hand tailored. And she has like she brushes her hand at her forehead and says, it's not terribly safe by the water there. I think that you should probably back up a little bit.
Oh, all right. Advice taken.
Yeah, you don't want to be around when Big Nessie's here.
Big Nessie. What's a Big Nessie?
Very, very large, scary thing that likes to chomp at you with its beak. It's not a good time.
Oh.
Right, and you. Sorry, I've not met many outside floorboard folk or indoor folk. So, do you interact with the others, or just this Big Nessie you avoid?
Hang on one second, let me get down. And she unhooks herself, like sliding down, and does a somersault off of this and lands on the ground in front of all of you. And just kind of brushes her hands and says, "Hi, I'm Ivy."
Hello.
Wonderful to meet you, Ivy.
Yeah, hi.
Spinnaker.
Pen.
Brandy.
Very nice to meet you. Are you new in the area?
We came to the house some day ago.
All right. Well, it's very nice to meet you. My folks are in our house if you want. I'm sure that they could whip something up if you wanted to chat. We don't get many people out here, I must admit.
Yeah, we were just following a trail because we saw an abandoned house inside the house. So we came out here to see if there was any further signs and maybe get materials ourselves.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of that here. You might want to talk to my folks. I haven't ever been inside. I prefer it out here personally, but you know,
Well, if you've never been inside, how do you know?
well, we have the sun, we have everything that we could need, water, food. It's all here. Why would I need anything else?
We got to bring you cheese.
What's cheese?
Oh, we're going to bring you cheese.
And she leads you over to the base of a tree, which you realize now, coming up right up to it, there's an entryway carved into the base of this tree. And there's just a set of winding stairs leading up into the tree trunk itself. And the tree still appears to be alive. They've just carved out their own space, quite literally, in this. She just pats the entrance. This is our house. Come on in.
Oh, fascinating. Is this something that you were born into? Did you move into more recently? This must have taken such a lot of work to prepare.
No, I mean, we've been here basically my entire life. I don't really remember. I know that I was born under the floorboards and all that, but we left pretty soon after. So, but my parents would be able to tell you more. I genuinely, I have no idea. They don't like to talk about it.
Understandable. Sometimes these events can be quite traumatic.
I'm sure you know very well since you're new.
Yes, well.
Who knows? Maybe they'll trade the stories. And she continues leading up. She's been talking to you while walking, and leads you up into a rather cozy space. There, like everything here is natural carved wood. You see acorns that have been carved out and made into bowls with little stands, and all manner of just very nicely handmade by folk, by floorboard folk, by outdoor folk. But what happens when you live beyond the floorboards? And sitting at the table, just preparing some nuts and seeds. There, you see an older woman. Her hair is shock white, very very frizzy, just tied back with a kerchief, and lined wrinkled face. And she looks up and says, "Oh, Ivy, you brought people. Hello.
Oh,
I don't know you."
Hello, possible? Wonderful to meet your acquaintance.
Right. Sorry, we don't talk to people much. Hi. I'm Yvonda.
As
Brandy?
I was saying to your wonderful child here, Spinnaker.
And I'm Pen.
We're new to the house.
Right, I gathered as much. No, welcome, I suppose. What brings you out here? The mantles generally don't come this way. At least I have not seen them in a very long time.
Oh, they're still in the house. We had the pleasure of meeting them almost as soon as we came in, as we were exploring. We did a lot of exploration in the house, and now we're just getting out here, feeling the way of the land, seeing if there's materials we can grab.
Oh, well, there's plenty around, and she's like gesturing, and you can tell that the majority of their diet is whatever they can find in the trees around here. Like tubers from the lake and things like that. Um, Honestly, it's a lot less stressful when you're away from the bigs. You don't have to worry about them, only the scary, large, flappy creatures, generally.
Mm.
And you find this is better?
Oh, absolutely. There was some horrifying thing that happened when I was younger, and we had to leave. We thought that the world was coming down all around us.
So I believe we may have encountered your old place of residence, in which case.
Oh, under the living room from the bigs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, we lived there. It was a very long time ago. Ivy was a baby. No, it's been a very long time. Just we had lived there for so long, and then one day things started booming and crashing, and then the rocks began to fall, and we had to leave in a hurry.
Can imagine.
Yes. Well, we've experienced some of that ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The remodeling, let's call it, I think.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't hear it.
Oh, remodeling, the big school, I think.
Remodeling. No, they haven't touched that space, or at least when we lived there, they hadn't touched that space in a very long time. And well, I looked around and I didn't see anything up above, and so we saw the destruction, and it was just constant loud noises, especially when it was dark out, and it was too much. So we left. It's much quieter out here.
I wonder if maybe a big creature got in or something, if it's not the bigs themselves doing work.
How close? The hallway on the side, is that close to where the grandfather clock was, or?
No.
Oh,
So
yeah,
the
and that was
grandfather
also a
clock was in
recent
the
addition.
hallway. Yeah, and that was recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you saw was their home with the rubble, and there was not too far away that ladder that led up to the covering that was fake, and then peeking out. That's where you saw like the TV and the giant black boxes and things like that.
Interesting.
And Ivy just swings down and plops down in a seat next to her mom and just starts like munching on seeds, like those big, just slowly munching away. You never talk about this with me. Was it really that bad? And her mom just pats her on the arm. You had to be there, dear. It was terrifying at the time. It's much nicer out here, though.
In in the kind of in the tree trunk, are there any
Mhm.
like? Do they have anything that they've made to like what is it?
Mm.
Is it like?
So they've carved out, like, they didn't want to carve out too far to be like, killing the tree or anything, but they've carved out a space here that is like decently sized for a small family. There's a dining room table, chairs, like everything looks like it's been very carefully hand carved. Everything is from nature. Like you see that the chairs have very carefully woven the grasses that have been turned into the chairs, seats, and things like that. And all of the decorations here, there's not a single thing that you recognize that is from the Bigs at all.
So they've been very self-sufficient up here.
Hmm.
Very creative.
Oh, thank you. It takes a little bit of practice, but you get used to it. Yeah, we don't need any of those lights or things like that. We just go to bed when the sun's down and wake up when it comes back up. I like to swing from the trees personally. Maybe not the safest thing, but if the squirrels can do it, I can too.
That sounds like solid logic to me.
Right?
I love jumping on things. You should have been there the other day when we found this playroom, and I like pull out my birdie hook, and I grabbed this, and then I ran off the edge and I leapt on this like weird wheelie thing and just grabbed on, and I went swooshing down a track.
That sounds really fun, honestly. I wonder if I could do that. Don't know. I've never actually been inside before, and you can tell that like her train of thought here is making her mother a little bit nervous.
I bet you can do a lot of that outside too, like just like sliding down the vines. Maybe even have like, I don't know, like little, Spinnaker has the better mind for this, but like carve out areas where you can make little tracks that you can like slide down.
Mm. I've made kind of a relay race for myself in the trees here. It can be fun. A little bit terrifying when you're up pretty high, but they're
Gosh, I
smaller
can
trees too.
imagine.
Just this is the question: is this actually a tree or just a really big plant? Like, well, not when I say a really big plant, but like a plant that would seem incredibly big to us.
Mhm.
Like a sunflower.
I mean, sometimes they're humongous when they get up to like full height.
Yeah, so I would say that so their home itself is in a tree. It's in the base of a tree. And she did come down from a tree, but looking at it, I mean, it's at least 30 years old because they've been living in here. But yeah, there's also a whole bunch of like smaller trees. Like there's some witch hazel trees and things like that that aren't quite as tall, aren't quite as like broad around. But well, if you want to wait for my dad, he should be along relatively soon, I think. He was going out exploring, looking for more food.
We should invite y'all over for dinner at our place.
Yvonne
Introduce Ivy to cheese.
Yvonne just like looks a little bit nervously from you all to her daughter. In the house. In the house. I don't know.
The house isn't that bad. I know it's been 30 years or so, but there are some stable spots, and we've contributed already to making it much nicer. They put in such a terrible clanging thing.
We've been so comfortable here for so long. I don't know if that's safe.
Well, I mean, we could always meet halfway, as it were.
Hmm.
What do you mean?
Well, your entrance is very convenient. Perhaps we could just kind of camp out with it just outside.
Next to the wall.
Yeah, have a little picnic.
Maybe. I need to talk to Blod about it. I don't. And you all have this conversation for some time. Ivy makes some very, very nice. It wouldn't be tea because I doubt that they have actual tea plants there, but I would say like an herbal blend of some kind with some flowers and things. It makes the hot water turn kind of like this purplish blue hue. Very, very tasty. It's one of my favorite. And as you all sit here and talk for a while, Ivy starts to look a little nervous, and she looks out the tiny carved window. Like it's rather deep, but she looks out and says, "I feel like Dad should have been back before now. I hope he's okay. Maybe I should go check on him."
So I thought he just went out to get supplies. Was he on his own?
Yeah, it's just the three of us here. But he's hardy enough. He does it all the time.
Right. Well, I suppose it's far be it for us to not help.
Yeah, we could join you looking.
They were pretty good at looking.
Okay. I mean, if you want to, of course, like
Yeah.
we've literally just met. Thank you. Like I appreciate everything, but if I'm okay going on my own if you don't feel comfortable with it. But no, I can show you some of the hidden paths and things.
That I'm always down for.
We like exploring.
I could tell. Right. Mother, don't worry. And she like grabs her mom's hands in both of hers and just goes, don't worry, I will be back soon. If I know where Dad said he was going to go, just give us a little bit of time. We'll be back. And if he comes back before we do, just make sure he stays here and doesn't come after us, because then that becomes a loop and that gets, we know, very confusing. So we'll be back and we'll check in. We'll see you in a little bit. And Yvanda's just, if you're sure, that's probably a good idea. Maybe Big Nessie's out there. You never know.
We'll take care of Ivy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Well, I mean, if we're gonna go, we should probably go. We'll take the less adventurous path. Don't worry. We don't need to go swinging through the trees here or anything like that. But
Maybe later.
hey, if you want, I'll show you.
Two of you are such huge risk takers.
And she leads you, and you know what? I'm gonna throw it to our scout, Pen. Describe to me. as you're going along the pond here, what you see, like what elements here do you see as you all are going through a path here?
Yeah, so the blades of grass are really tall up against large gray stones that are moss ridden and just wet with moisture of just sort of the pond that's waves to us slapping up against them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Pools of water sort of darting through the pathways, the mud thick that you sort of sink, up to our ankles in it a little bit. And there's very much that's almost like algae smell in the air with the water and the earth. Uh, and you can catch just through the blades of the grass hints of those tall cattails sort of swaying in the breeze. And in the distance, the quacking sounds of the ducks going quack, 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 quack.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, a grasshopper or other little bug just hops along.
Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting to you watching those grasshoppers because normally, like insects and bugs and things, they just kind of skitter away. They don't want, like, they can tell that you're something different and they don't want to uh, fight you or anything like that. These grasshoppers actually, at one point, Ivy is running along and they just bound across next to her. Just like almost conversing with each other as they just bound along next to Ivy. And she gives one of them a pat that kind of sends it on its way. And she just kind of gives you a grin and says, "You get to know the creatures around here when you live out here." So,
Ah, I want a hopper friend. They can jump with me.
We do have Eek. Eek does do sub jumping, though.
No, Heek is amazing and I love Eek, but could you imagine if we just like grow our family and include hoppers? Imagine the places they can get to.
they can jump very tall. It's pretty impressive.
Possibility. Well,
Yeah, I don't know if there are any in the home, but I mean, I'm sure that if you bribed them with the right stuff, they'd move right on in.
Hmm. I can definitely be
perhaps
arranged.
would any of them have seen your father?
Oh, no, they didn't say that they saw him anywhere. I was asking, so they don't really communicate in words necessarily, but more like the clicks and rubbing together legs and things like that. Those
Hmm.
kinds of sounds. So they didn't see him, but I know where he said he was going, and it's the grove just across the way. So we just need to go across the bridge, and then we'll get there. And she points over, and you see this very, very large, old, like rotted tree trunk that has fallen over across a section of the water. And you can see looking up at it that it is hollow in the center. But that moisture, that dampness to the bark, it squishes, as you know from touch. It's not anything that you think would be a problem to traverse, at least the wood itself. You're small enough that it's a rather large tree. You won't have to worry about it crumbling under your weight by any means. Just keep in mind that sometimes there are some mice and things that like to live in here, so just be careful. Watch your step. It's a little bit dark partway through, but if we cross through here, we'll be very nearly there.
Right.
So, and as she's walking through, she steps up in and reaches down to offer her hand to anyone who needs it.
Definitely taking a hand.
Yep. Easily pulls you up. It's like to her you weigh nothing as she lifts you up. You can tell
Right, you have competition.
she spends most of her time in the trees. She is very muscular, but easily pulls you up and offers her hand down to Pen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Lifts you up, sets you down. Brandy, do you need help or you got it?
I think I got it.
Okay.
But I'll scream if I need help.
By all means. And she takes a step back. Describe to us in that case what Brandy's doing to get up onto this tree trunk. It's like 2 heads taller than you, basically.
Well, there is, a lot of bumps and lumps on the barks.
Mhm.
It's pretty much like rock climbing.
Oh, yeah.
Find your handholds, and besides, I gotta equal her with the muscles.
You know what?
Competition.
Just for fun,
Oh,
for
gosh.
fun, roll enduring for me.
Oh, hey. 7, 11 again.
11 again. You do what you intended to do, and you already described what it looks like.
Yeah.
So just hand over hand, like very nimbly making your way up from root to root and jumping up onto the hollow of this tree very, very easily. And
This is nice, yeah.
Ivy just goes, not too shabby. Okay, well, it's this way. And she leads you into the dark of this tunnel bridge situation. And as you feel the wet wood kind of giving ever so slightly under your feet, making your way into this bridge, it gets darker and darker. And there's a moment where you have to blink your eyes to adjust. And then you see just ever so faintly within the trunk here, along the sides, there is a green glow of mushrooms that are just little ledges leading up, lighting the way, going through here. Just bright green, phosphorescent, beautiful. And she just looks up at them and says, I wouldn't recommend touching them, but they are nice.
Do we want to know what happens?
I just said Spinnaker pulling their hand back, caught in the moment of reaching out towards them.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about these mushroom things. Nothing to worry about, but best not to touch them. So, why exactly did you all leave your home in the first place? I got a little bit of it, like something about renovation, you said? Is that the word?
Yeah. Essentially, the bigs were kind of restructuring the building. So it started to make it very unsafe for us to continue living in there, and we had to move very quickly out. We left a lot behind, but we took what we could.
Well, I know that from my parents. They never went back for anything. They just said the roof was coming down on top of them, and if anything survived, well, it was there. It's fine. But I don't know. Maybe they might have left some things behind that they actually cared about. It's hard to say.
I mean, other than the rubble, we did see quite a number of things there.
Well,
maybe you could show me.
I mean, yes, we could definitely show, but I don't think your mother. Sorry, how old is this person?
like 30s-ish, 20s, 30s, somewhere
Oh,
around
okay.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not a child or anything like that. She's just lived outside her entire life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I personally would be happy to show you.
Mhm.
And maybe there are things that we could bring back for your family next time we visit, or you could bring back.
That would be amazing. I honestly, I thought about it a lot, but I don't actually know where the home is. And so while I thought about going back and trying to find things for them, I just haven't really it's a massive structure. I have no idea where I would even begin to look.
Mhm.
But I mean, what they don't know can't hurt them until after the fact. If they don't know that I've gone in, then
Ask forgiveness, not permission.
exactly. I mean, they tend to frown on my antics anyway. I swing from trees. It's not the safest thing in the world, but
Yeah,
hey, you only live once and it's fun.
Mhm.
Watch your heads here. And she kind of ducks a little bit as there's like a section of the trunk that's a little bit lower. And she peeks out as the you get to the other side here and looks around. Dad? I don't see him anywhere. And you looking out in the space here, see a massive glade. It is just a very large space surrounded by extremely tall trees just looming tall above you. There are a number of, like, you can see scattered all around acorns and things like that, just all over the place. A rather perfect place for foraging. And you see plants and things like that that could be edible. You don't exactly know. And there's just this nice, even space to walk down out of the log in this space. And as she is looking around, she just goes, "Well, he said he was going to be here. I don't know what would have taken him so long.
Hmm.
Is there? Do you see anything strange?"
Yeah, I think.
Uh,
Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if there were any tracks or anything, but then I'm thinking we're inside folk. I'm not sure that would be a thing that we.
I mean, you can certainly try.
Maybe we see tracks and dust.
True, but that's
Yeah.
probably maybe your.
Yeah,
Your
that's essentially what I was going to ask, if I see any like recent like footprint tracks of our size or anything like that.
Mhm. Go ahead and roll perceptive for me. And Spinnaker, because you had a similar idea, if you want to, you can as well.
Okay. 8 plus 6 is 14.
14. Okay. And Spinnaker?
So I also rolled an 8, but I only get a +4, so it's a 12.
Well, you both rolled 12 plus.
Yeah.
You do what you intended to do, and you get an extra benefit or advantage. So, looking around, these aren't tracks that you would normally be looking for. Yes, the footprints of a similar size to you, you spot these instantly, leading down this kind of sloping path away from the log that you have just exited, and the trunk rather. And you see it going, the footprints going off into the glade, and then like following along that. What both of you notice is large webbed footprints leading from the lake, following after those footprints.
Hmm.
And I actually think that that's a really good place for us to take a break, if that sounds good to you
Yeah.
all.
Oof.
Okay, so yes, we're going to take a short break now. Don't forget that we're doing a giveaway of a PDF copy of Under the Floorboards today. So type in !floorboards with an S into the chat to have a chance at winning a copy of this wonderful game. Also, hydrate and take your meds. As I always say, hydrate or die straight. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Twitch and YouTube channels to help support femme creators. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to see where this picks up. So we'll see you all in 10. Bye. welcome back to Girls Run These Worlds. We are playing Under the Floorboards. This is episode 4 of The Secret Life of the Tuffets. And our Tuffets are currently attempting to find another outdoor folk who seems to have gone a little bit astray. And before we get back into that, don't forget, once again, we are doing a giveaway of a digital copy of Under the Floorboards. So type ! Floorboards into the chat with an S, floorboards, to potentially have a chance to win a copy of the game. But moving right back along, you see these footprints, not only of a folk of your size, but massive webbed feet following after. What do you do?
Run? No. It doesn't appear that your father was alone. Do you have some kind of accord with the ducks?
Oh, great. Okay, so this is not ducks, first of all. This is a much, much bigger duck.
Oh.
A very, very angry duck. This is Nessie. Okay, this is a problem. Best thing that we can do is get to him quickly. Generally, when Nessie's around, we go for the route of hiding where she can't hit us, where she can't get to us. Hit is a strong word. She has never actually managed to get to us quick enough. We're pretty agile. Don't look so worried. Don't worry, Spinnaker. If you want, you can stay back. It's fine. I totally understand. This is not something that any of you have ever had to encounter before, so new experiences. But I'll take point. Gather acorns. She gets distracted very easily. That might be a useful little thing that you can do. Like if there's any way that you can, I don't know, launch them at her.
Yeah, but I at her, would that not attract her? So I can certainly launch them elsewhere. I have a bit of kit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything that draws the eye, if there's a way to make it so that she does not go anywhere near us, that would be very helpful. But she is a mean bird.
Lovely.
Yes. Well, I suppose if you lead the way, I will pick up some acorns on the way, and I will identify places to hide that I can get to very quickly and easily, and then I will set myself up there with some acorns.
Yeah, and honestly, anything that you can find, and she looks at all of you, anything that you can find that can be helpful, have at it. It can be a little bit of a team effort to get rid of Nessie, to be sure. But we've always been successful, so I'm sure that'll be fine. Dad might be a little bit shaken, but I'm sure he'll be okay. So let's go. So go ahead.
This is going to be an adventure.
Let's go.
Slappy.
Ivy just slaps you on the back brain and says, "That's the spirit." I mean, come on, let's just do this.
Yeah.
So I would say, depending on what you want to do here to start, you tell me what role you want to make. Like whether you're looking for things, if you're trying to like get a lay of the land or like find items to use, like anything like that.
I think that I would go, Spinnaker would go for resourceful as
Okay.
a general rule.
Yeah, for sure. And what are they looking for besides, say, acorns, which are
So
everywhere?
yeah, so it's definitely a place that that would be easy for them to get into, but
Mm-hmm.
also provide them a good kind of vantage of the area, as well
Okay.
as like so they have like this little contraption in their bag that
Mm-hmm.
they've put together from like flexible reeds and like old hairbands and things like this, and some sticks, like basically a little mini kind of catapult in case things need to be thrown in places, and like something that they can kind of stabilize it on so that they can pull back on me.
Okay.
They
Very
have no
cool.
interest in hitting Nessie, but if it would easily distract this very big angry duck, then they will happily shoot acorns into like the middle distance or
Yeah.
by them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so go ahead and roll resourceful for me as you all are making your way following these tracks.
Oh, okay, that's an 8 plus 7, so 15.
Incredible.
Mhm.
You and looking around, trying to find a place to like set up your catapult, but it's easily covered. You actually see a section of a root system that is like this nice little like ledge up that gives you a vantage point, and there are there's a bunch of ivy that's growing along the tree there that you can kind of duck under, and there's like a little hollow space that you're able to
Nice.
hide into if needed.
Nice. So definitely marking that and kind of like making sure that all pathways lead to there for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then Pen, how about you? Oh, we had hydrate.
Yeah, that's what I was in the moment of. So with a quick drink of dew off a blade of grass, I think Pen's plan is once we get Nessie over here, we need to also keep Nessie from wanting to run back. So I
Mm-hmm.
think Pen is going to try and find maybe a loose branch or something and have it propped up over the path so that when Nessie runs by, it can just topple over. Maybe we'll scare it from wanting to run back that way.
Okay, very cool. That also feels like a resourceful to me. So if you
I,
want to argue for something else, you can.
it is one of my lower ones, but I'll do it. Let's go. Come on, die. Let's go. Okay. 8 total.
8 total. You do what you intended to do, but with a complication or cost. And I love to throw those complications to you because you come up with some really good
Yeah.
ones. All of you do.
Yeah.
So you do manage to find a stick, but what's the complication or cost?
Yeah, so I find the stick and I make sure it's large enough so it's very straining on me to keep it up. And I don't realize that my own acorn backpack is sort of get cut up in the branch of it a little bit
Ooh.
that's low hanging and I don't notice it yet.
Ooh, okay. So are you like hanging on to this, like waiting?
Yeah, like ready to like spring it down, not realizing that if it does, it's going to launch me.
Oh my goodness. And Brandy,
Oh
what are
my
you
gosh.
doing here?
Loading up my pack with acorns and stones, and then trying to find a sort of high-ish place so I can fling them at the creature.
Okay. I would say you're going to roll enduring for me. And you are like the Spinnaker and Penn are just a little ways back from the two of you as you and Ivy are taking charge, like going forward, looking for like what the situation is here. And so as you go, Ivy just says, okay, I'm going to be trying to distract you a little bit, get it coming this way. Nessie loves the water. I'm sure that if we distract her enough, she'll go back that way. If she doesn't see anything that she wants to try to stampede, I'm sure that that will work out great. But if you can kind of help with that distraction, that would be amazing.
I will do my best. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So go ahead and roll enduring then for me.
Come on, you've been doing good for me so far. 6 plus 10.
10 total. You do what you intended to do. Describe what it looks like. So, what area do you find here?
I think there's a root or something of a plant that just gives me enough lift to sort of create a base of operations for the flinging.
Very much
So I
like
can get
like
different
Spinnaker.
directions.
It feels like you guys are snipers. That is what it feels like to me. And I, yeah. And Ivy just looks at the spot that you found and says, "Okay, good. You stay there. I'm going to get her attention. Uh, wish me luck, I guess. I can always get into the trees. It's fine. We'll be good."
Okay.
Okay, and she glances back and sees all of you kind of in your various positions and just kind of gives you a salute and goes running down the pathway here following those footprints.
Be careful! Very tiny voice.
Yeah, you do not get a response. She's just a little bit too far away. And you wait one moment, another moment. It feels like a very long time until finally you just hear the flapping of wings and the loudest honk you have ever heard in your lives as Ivy comes running down the path and says, now's as good a time as any, and is like bolting down and just veers around behind the tree. And you see this very large white goose that is just flapping and running angrily along the path.
Oh my gosh.
So
No
there's no
take.
combat. There's no combat in Under the Floorboards. I'm just going to put that out there for the audience here. The whole idea of fighting a big when you're this big would not end well for you. So like, there's no actual combat here. But I want you all to describe what you want to do, and then you're going to have to make a roll to see how successful, if you're successful.
Well, we already know mine has a complication.
Exactly. I would say, Brandy, you're probably first based on where you're located along this path. So what all are you trying to do here?
I am going to be throwing stones. You know, everybody has stones on their desk, don't they?
You pick up the most random things from your desk, and I love this so much.
I should take a picture of this and send it to you so you can see how chaotic this is.
I have a foot massager.
That's important, yeah.
Yes.
Just try to figure out which way is best to go and just fling the stones and acorns to get the creature to go in the direction we want it to
Okay.
go, and try to keep it from attacking Ivy and the rest of them.
Very fair. So I think that at this moment you're trying to distract Nessie enough that she doesn't spot where Ivy has run to. Uh, so in that case, this feels like a cunning to me.
Oh dear. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Smart. I am 5 smart.
5 total. Okay. So you describe to us how you attempt to throw these acorns and rocks to distract it, but are unsuccessful.
I
What happens?
I think it's because I overestimated how good my balance would be on this route while also flinging what's to me very heavy things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I throw a couple and then end up falling off into the ground and having to scramble back up and trying to get my bearings
Okay.
again. Yeah.
I love that. And so as you're like trying to fling these things and you lose your balance and topple backward, you luckily are not that high up to the point that you would like injure yourself. But it does take a minute for you to kind of get back up into that vantage point again. And by the time you get up, Nessie has passed by you. And seems to have like not paid any attention to these things that you had flung. Which brings us to Spinnaker.
Seeing Brandy's not so much success in this case, Spinnaker is a little like, oh, maybe the acorns weren't such a good fit. Huh. Or will kind of quickly root around in their pack, and that I think there's like a little bit of cheese or ham or something that a goose would eat, maybe not just bread, something that smells nice, and they're going to rub it on all the acorns and then start launching them to just go past Nessie,
Okay.
but like so kind of close by, so that she'll get a whiff of it, and then she'll go to, like after that, maybe.
Okay. What do you think this role would be?
I am angling for resourceful because
Okay.
that's like my best.
Yeah. We'll go with resourceful.
Yeah. I rolled a 4 on the dice. It's a good thing I have a 7. So
Okay.
it's 11. So
You do what you intended to do. Describe what it looks like.
okay. So seeing this, and it kind of you would see Spinnaker's kind of slightly worried, if you'd been looking, Spinnaker's worried face kind of peeking out, going, and then like things kind of sort of flying out of their pack in a little bit of a controlled chaos situation, and hand up with the thing, and then like hurriedly scrabbling around, rubbing on the acorns, and then setting the acorns in their little catapult situation and leaning back to pull on them, because they're sitting down whilst they're doing this, so that they have a very stable base. And and they're just kind of letting go and launching them.
and you just launch one after another, and they go sailing past Nessie as she goes charging forward, like looking for Ivy, who has distracted her. And you can see the moment where the big duck gets a whiff of that smell, and the beak just turns. And she starts charging off in the direction that you launched these. Pen, what is happening with the stick that you are stuck to
Yeah, so
without knowing?
I have this branch I'm holding very steady, as steady as I can. I can feel my arm shaking, trying to keep it still and not move until I am ready to let it go and fall down into the path to separate Nessie from the rest of us. So I'm holding on hard, and yeah, the just not seeing the little branches come around and hooked me in the back.
Okay, so I'm going to say roll, let's see, would it be sturdy or enduring?
Sturdy's my better one.
Well, then I was gonna say roll enduring, but no.
Okay.
roll sturdy. Roll
Okay.
sturdy.
Yeah, I have a +4, so it becomes a 10. This was a 6.
Okay. You do what you intended to do. Describe what it looks like, keeping your complication in mind.
Yeah. So that is very much in play here.
Yes.
So yeah, excitedly, I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is working. Nessie, full flapping prods by. And in that last moment, I'm like, okay, let go. And almost in a slow motion, as the branch starts to fall down, I feel that lift up and just my eyes wide. And I'm like, oh no. And then everyone just sees this little acorn pack with Pen launch up into the air as they spin in like a somersault, just and then try not to be too loud because of Nessie. And very quickly, hooky birdie go. As I try and catch another branch before I fall to the ground.
Okay, go ahead and roll agile for me in that case.
Okay.
You describe the thing. I'll make you roll it. Sure.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I'm also good in agile because it would have been bad, but it's a 10.
Okay. So you, like, I feel like Pen has had a slow motion moment in every single session.
Yep.
Just
Pen, I think, thinks that they can fly. Like, there seems to be a
I just want to fly. Give me a chickadee to ride.
I believe I can fly. No. Just managed to latch on to a stick at the last second. Like you missed a couple of them, but you snag on one, and it's like that tug down as you catch your weight on it, and you strain, and you're just holding on tight. You are a good like 2 feet up in the air. You went flying.
I just take a very, very slow, controlled exhale. The adrenaline's going.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly, like monkey bar, swing along the branch and try to make my way down.
Mm-hmm. And I will say that your agile roll from before will lead into this. And so it's not a continual roll situation. You do eventually make your way back down to the ground.
Did not expect that part. It was fun though. Like, oh my god.
I'm literally picturing Spinnaker just shaking their head at Pen like.
That's exactly what I mean. I don't think they would have well, other than the, you know what, no, last time Pen cried out as well when they were doing the dive to get onto the robot vacuum. So I think they would have just assumed that Pen had planned this, that perhaps it was perhaps trying to jump onto the duck.
And just missed.
Yeah.
Maybe that could have happened too.
So yeah, there is a lot of shaking of the head and being like,
that would have distracted the duck.
It definitely would have. Maybe not necessarily in the way that you wanted.
Like, they're so well unusual to risk. Like,
I mean, I am prone to leaping and flying in the air, so I don't know how this is any different, even when it's by accident. I think the laws of nature just wants me to fly. That's it. We got to find a way for me to do this properly, you know.
I'm sure Spinnaker could probably think of a way, but is definitely not going to encourage you at all.
No, I want my Michelangelo like styled wings.
You don't want your Icarus moment for Pen?
It's just like paper clips and paper as wings.
Yup. I mean, you have access to wax.
Build a big enough paper airplane, then it might work.
That would be interesting.
Oh,
is a piece of paper bigger than us, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
and then you could sit in the little V
section.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm just imagining how much of a chore it would be to fold it.
A big chore. Like, I'm picturing like when I have to like cut up my fabrics for my costumes, and I have them laid out on the floor because that's the only surface large enough.
Yep.
But in any case, off on a tangent.
Yeah. Never.
Never ever. You see off in the kind of not quite the middle of the glade, but far enough away that Nessie is just like pecking down at the various bits of food that have been launched past her, just chowing down and eating them, and like staying still and watching everything that's happening here. You
So I didn't actually chuck food.
No, but like the acorns.
Oh, the acorns
described. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Acorns are edible.
Okay. It was more of a case of I wouldn't have chucked our food because it was hard enough to get.
Yeah. Totally. No, but you made the acorns smelly. And so Nessie is going after those smelly acorns. And so you watch as the giant white duck just kind of like pecks around for a little bit, gives a very disgruntled noise, and you have sufficiently distracted her that she begins to wander off back to the lake. Ivy pokes her head out. Is she gone?
Yeah, I think we did it.
I do not want to run from Nessie ever again. I did not realize how fast she could go.
Yeah, we were really scared for you.
Well, thank you for the assist there. That would have been interesting to do on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on one second. I'm gonna let Dad know that it's safe. I'll be right back. And she trots off back down the path that you watched her run away from Nessie along.
Pen, I'm a little concerned that what were you trying to do?
I was blocking off the path so Nessie wouldn't come back. Don't you see my stick there? And
Right.
it's like a very branchy, like twiggy, like things all over it.
I mean, the way you went up into the air, I thought you were attempting a repeat of the vacuum situation.
Huh. That could have been fun.
Oh no! Like I've just put an idea into your head.
Maybe I'll try to find one of the smaller ones and practice on. Would it help if I ask Ivy? Maybe Ivy can help me. Maybe we can learn how to tame the quackies.
No. I think Spinnaker just looks a little bit faint. It's like, I'm not your mother or not your father or not your parent or anything, but like, I think I can understand how Ivy's mother might feel.
You're thinking that maybe the reason why her hair is so white is because Ivy stresses her out.
Clearly, Spinnaker is also going white, right? Or I am for Spinnaker.
Oh, my cheeks are hurting from smiling and laughing so much. Oh my goodness. Okay. And so while you all are having this discussion, it doesn't take long before Ivy comes just jogging back, not quite as fast as before. She's propping up a taller folk man with like short cropped hair. It's kind of salt and peppery, and he is just ever so slightly limping as he walks along with her and just kind of pats her on the shoulder like that. And he looks up to you and says, "Well, I believe I have all of you to thank for rescue from Nessie."
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, we had a good amount of teamwork.
Yeah.
We have another hydrate if you didn't see.
Oh man.
Thank you.
Another drink.
Well, I'm proud of myself. I've already finished one bottle of sparkling water. ASMR time. Let's get this one open.
There, you can redeem points for ASMR.
Oh God.
You feel those bubbles decompress.
Oh jeez. You actually take a sip of this. Sparkling water. And anyway, so he looks to all of you and just says, "Thank you, genuinely. She doesn't normally get quite that violent. I'm not sure what was going on. I'm Blod. Blod Ponside. It's very nice to meet all of you."
Good to meet you as well.
Yeah. I'm Pen.
Oh yeah, Brandy.
Spinnaker. Is this a usual occurrence?
Not terribly. She generally doesn't come out this way. And so I thought that I was fine without Ivy here, but clearly I was wrong. I don't know. Something's gotten into her and I'm not quite sure what, but I think I'll be more careful next time. Maybe don't tell Yolanda that I got caught by by Nessie. I'm pretty sure that if she has anything not white on her head, it would turn white immediately if she heard the news. So
We didn't see a thing.
I didn't go flying. It's fine.
you went flying.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun time.
It's always a
Flying
fun
and
time.
falling.
I see where Ivy gets it from.
Well, you gotta have a little fun. But this was a little bit more fun than I was particularly wanting. Um, well, I think that we should probably get away from here just in case Nessie decides to come back. I appreciate you assisting in getting me back. That was, oh, she had me trapped in some like a bramble of tree trunk bush thing. It was not good. I was stuck.
Oh dear.
That's the reason why. And he gestures at his limping leg. I'll be okay. Just I twisted my ankle. Yeah, it'll be fine. Just need to give it a little bit of a wrap, and I'll be okay. But no matter. I mean, I didn't get to scavenge quite as much food as I wanted, but I see, and he's looking at Brandy's satchel and Spinnaker's. It looks like you have a lot of acorns there. If you want, we could have a meal of it at our place.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. I also have like some small snacks. I bought them with. I always have them on me, and perhaps. Well, I'm sure you've probably had cheese, but Ivy was saying that.
I have not had cheese in such a long time. You'd share it?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. Not so happy to share it with Nessie, but
very fair. I particularly wouldn't want to share anything with Nessie either if I could avoid it. But well, I'm sure that Yvonda is worried. We should probably head on back.
Yeah.
Well, this way, I'm sure you know the way at this point, I suppose. You've met Ivy here. She just laughs and says, "Yes, Dad, they know where we live. It's fine. I'll lead the way. You're okay." And she just helps him along a little bit, heading on back to their tree trunk home. Is there anything you want to do along the way?
Just keep an eye out for anything interesting.
Okay.
So the luminescent fungi in the log.
Mm-hmm.
I said not to touch it.
Yeah.
But what if I had a little baggie that I could scrape it off into?
If you're careful about it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say roll resourceful just to see how much you're able to get.
Okay. That is a 7 and a 7, so 14.
Ooh.
Describe for us what you're doing in this log with the phosphorescent mushrooms, like how you're collecting them. What are you thinking of using them for?
Well, I think it's one of those things that in the old house or the old structure, there were various tchotchkes and trinkets, and maybe Spinnaker is thinking about a little kind of terrarium of sorts, but like
Okay.
terrarium type nightlight type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, this
Oh.
could be very interesting, very like a fun thing. So they're basically just trying to get like a tiny bit. So what they do is they use their trusty tool to kind of gently cut them off, and then like I think it's like the remains of like a cut balloon or something that got snagged, and then they just kind of scoop it into that and tie it off
Okay.
for the moment. I wonder if it glows through the.
Depends on the color of the balloon, I guess.
I think it was probably something like a yellow one or something.
Okay. It would give off a very faint glow in that case. Of course, if you were to if you as a floorboard folk were to blow up this balloon,
Oh, God.
you would see it more because of course it's stretched out. But I'm just trying to picture a floorboard folk like
No. That would be a thing that you'd have to like attach it to a vent or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that.
Oh my god.
But no, this is a very broken balloon. It's clearly snagged. It's like it's not the opening. Isn't just that little thing. It's like its own
It's
little
been cut.
knapsack now, just a stretchy knapsack.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So you see a very faint glow coming from it. Of course, like the until you tie it off, you saw it glowing out of it, but there's still like a very, very faint glow inside the balloon there. Very cool.
Looks like Spinnaker also does ill-advised things. Very different.
Mhm.
Indeed, they do. In the name of creation and science.
Science.
Hang on, I have to clip that. Let me clip. There we go. I have clipped. Anyway, yes, so you follow along the path leading back over to the Pondsides house, because it is indeed the Pondsides. And you, at one point, Pen, the grasshoppers are the hoppers, as you called them, find your group again, and they are just kind of hopping along. They seem to like the. I need to look at a grasshopper. Hang on. I have to look what they look like. They have very long ones. Okay, so their antenna is just kind of going every which way, and just kind of tilting, and then one of them just kind of butts up against you and kneels down a little bit.
Am I allowed to go on you?
It leans down a little bit further.
I give it a gentle pet and I very gently clamber on. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
And it immediately just bounds off.
Woo!
leaping away.
Woo!
And it is very much like flying that you've experienced so far, just minus the falling part.
Yep. It's all very controlled.
Exactly. And you actually get back to the Pondsides house before everyone else. And it just like settles back down to let you off once more.
Oh. Well, thank you, Hopper. I'll learn your name. I'll learn your language. I'll learn your name.
It just kind of like butts its head against your shoulder and hops off again.
I'll have to come back often.
Figure out what they eat.
Not me going and Googling what grasshoppers eat now. Oh, I like what Ida said in the Twitch chat. Falling with style.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh, my pink flamingo's out like a sword.
Please tell me that you're going to draw this now.
I guess I have to. I mean, like, write this note down.
Because I kind of love the imagery and I need to actually see it.
It's going to be like that Napoleon painting, that classic painting. It's a pen on a grasshopper.
I love this for pen. Which also amuses me because the whole Napoleon complex, not that pen has that, but like short and tall.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, so the rest of you do eventually catch up with Pen at the base of this tree.
Oh, really should have taken a grasshopper. It was amazing.
We'll just continue on
What?
into the journey.
What? It was perfectly safe.
Spinnaker
Maybe
has a
I'll-
lower appetite for rest, doesn't she?
But you are led back up to the Pondside's home and are able to make a variety of a spread of food, some of which you've possibly never had before, since the only time you ventured outside was to move. And you contribute your cheese and maybe some bread. I think that you said you had bread as well. And meat. But in any case, as soon as sorry, what?
Sorry, it's just small cuts. They were wrapped
like a
up.
charcuterie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love
Very
it.
fancy, but not quite as considered as well. Yeah.
All good. But Yvonda, when she sees the meat and the cheese, she like drops what she was doing and just looks at that and says, "Oh, I haven't seen that in a very long time." Are you sharing this with us?
Yes, I wouldn't have got it out if I hadn't been willing to share.
Well, thank you. That's very, very lovely of you. Hold on. I have something. And she goes and rifles through a kind of like they made a miniature like your size chest with drawers and everything, and she just pulls it open and is rifling through things, and she has a very lovely tiny seed carved like hair decoration that has like many beads and things that she's woven together. Sometimes I like to craft. If you want as a present for the food.
Oh, that's such a lovely gift. No present is required, however, but I will take it with joy and friendship.
You can do what you like with it. I made it as a little clip for my hair, but you can make it into a necklace or bracelet or anything, really.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
And it's got some like little red seeds, and like it's a little bit clunky. I like that I'm pointing at my wrist describing it, but it's you know, being tiny folk, rather large, but closer to your scale.
Yeah, I imagine Spinnaker will probably hang it over their bed or something as more of a decoration as opposed to wearing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, shall we eat?
Oh, I'm starving. Time really flies.
Yes, I heard about your little adventure. That does not sound very safe.
You'd be surprised at how I'm kind of an expert at this point in that kind of adventure.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Okay. And she just goes back and like all three of them just to set the table and insist on all of you just sitting while they set everything up. And you've all made a grand meal, which seems to be a habit with the floorboard folk.
We're like hobbits.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Everything is good over a meal.
Yep.
You meet new floorboard folk, you have a meal together, obviously, and trade
You almost die
stories.
by a duck. You have a meal.
Yep. And you know what? I think that this is a really cool idea that I just had it, but what story do you share with the pond sides? What fun little moment in your past, and it doesn't even need to be connected to each other. Just it can be short, it can be long, whatever you want to come up with. Pen.
Yeah, I think Pan tells a story of when they were smaller than the small size they are as a under the floorboard folk back in the house when they first were living under the tuffet, where the real risk-taking nature was there. And I imagine that as Penn tells a story of how they would scale the brickwork of the fireplace around like that holiday time, collecting tinsels and creating just balls of it and throwing it around and kind of swinging from the little tinsel like lines of it and then landing onto this weird plasticky tree. Like it looks like a tree, but doesn't smell like a tree.
Mhm.
And it has all these bulbed decorations. And one day when the bulbs fell and broke, and he was able to bring that all back to the rest of the Tuffets, and we were able to like do like this huge crafting session. And that just sort of really enabled Penn's risk taking of, oh, I can go out and get really cool stuff if I take the risk.
I love that so much. Brandy?
I think I'd tell him the tale of the dollhouse.
Mm. Do you embellish anything?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, gosh, I can't even think now. But yeah, lots embellishing. Yeah, I was able to lift this couch just.
Yeah, you were. I was there.
Ivy is just like rapt attention, like staring at all of you wide eyed.
Yeah, I think Spinnaker just tells a tale about one of their contraptions. It was probably like something that they had at the old house that they'd spent quite a bit of time on, and it was really useful for, I don't know, maybe it was their own little like alarm, but it was also one of those things that was like started like the pan going or whatever, just to wake you up to the smell of bacon or some such. Obviously, they didn't easily have bacon all the time.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
maybe
sure
if you like,
the bigs would also be enticed by this.
this is very true. Well, if you got into the fridge and got like a teeny tiny cut of the bacon, no one would ever notice, right? Although
I
how you
don't know
would
how
get into
we'd
the
get into the
fridge.
fridge and how we get out again. No, I imagine it's not quite that like deep. I think it's more of just a like it possibly cracked the lid on like some sort of nice smell, like from a little bottle that they'd suffered, and it was like a really nice thing to wake up to.
Oh, that's lovely. And they Blod with Yvonda tell a little bit more of the story of why they left the house. And it wasn't just the explosion and the rubble coming all down. Explosion to them, of course. They heard for an entire sun just loud banging and crashing sounds and horns blazing and all different kinds of terrifying noises from up above that they had never experienced before. And there was something that made the floor shake above, and that shaking is what caused the rocks to come tumbling down. Um, and You tell me, did the Bigs in your previous house have a TV? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess so, but I think they never had it particularly loud, so they probably
Okay.
so it probably wasn't
Probably a lot of more soap opera shows during the day, and then like maybe like a like reality TV show at night.
Mhm. Okay, so I'll leave it at that then. But it sounds like in the moment very, very scary for sure, especially with the rocks tumbling
Oh
down.
gosh, yeah.
But you have a very nice long meal and eventually manage to make your way back home. And Ivy just like grabs Pen by the hands and just says, I would love to come meet you, explore your house at some point. I don't know, maybe in the next couple of suns. Just leave a sign outside. You know how you exited. I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, I got some really bright green thread. I can like weave it in
Oh,
the rock right here.
absolutely. That sounds great. Yeah, just let me know and I'll stop on by. It sounds amazing.
Oh, you got to see like just all the paths we've been making and finding as we've been living here. You're gonna love it.
Sounds wonderful to me. We'll see what we can do. But it was lovely to meet all of you, and thank you again for helping me save Dad.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the three of you head back in as the sun begins to set and go back into your home, having had a rather exciting day.
I'm exhausted.
And I think that is a great place to stop for today.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. So, really quick, before I go through everything else, just a reminder, there is a giveaway of Under the Floorboards. So if you want to enter into that last minute, exclamation point floorboards with an S, type that into the chat and you'll be entered to potentially win a prize. And so let's go ahead and do outros. I always forget that I'm supposed to do an outro too, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now so that I don't forget. But yes, hello. My name is Anya. I am Lalion cosplay literally everywhere. I'm also a pro GM on Start Playing Games. I'm Lalion over there, so definitely come check me out if you want to play in games with me. That'd be awesome. But let's see. Tomorrow, I'm going to continue working on my Imogen Temelt jacket on stream on my channel at 6 p.m. Germany time. So come watch me sew. Let's go over to Natalie.
Right. Hey, everybody. I'm Natalie. I was playing Pen. You can find me most places on the internet with Ghost Candle or Ghostly Candle on Twitch and YouTube. I am a variety streamer and artist and performer. When I'm not here, I'm in many other places, and October is probably my busiest time. So just follow me because my brain is melted after a convention, so I can't remember every single thing I said yes to. So just follow the handles and you'll get the most up-to-date information on where I'm at. As well as the fun, spooky solo games I'm highlighting for this month. So follow.
Hey. And then Lola.
Hi, I'm Lola. I have been Spinnaker. I do yarn things and yes, I'm occasionally in TTRPG spaces. I will be playing a game in some time at some point in the next couple of months. Well, I was like, when is it? Oh, it's November 3rd. That's quite a ways away.
Yep.
The rest of the stuff is all going to be pre-recorded, so don't know when that's coming out. But yeah, I mean, as a yarny thing, like I've made a bunch of little potion charms, and there's some pride-related potion charms that are now in my shop. So you can always check that out.
Nice.
Because they can also be used or made into earrings and things like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, and then Caden.
Hi, I'm Caden. I was playing Brandy. I can be found mostly on Twitter at Magdalene Bloom. And I don't know what else I have going on. My things are just in an uproar right now with life in general, but we'll see what comes up. You get to a certain age, you just roll with it.
Yeah. And as Ida has said, our lovely producer in the chat, Tina, who was not able to be here today, honorable mention to them. You can find Tina at the link in the Stream Elements thing in the chat. Yeah, so we have our prize winners because I see that we had 2 polls, which is totally fine because we do have 2 PDFs left of Under the Floorboards. So with that being said, Hamalu and OKSDM, you have both won PDFs of Under the Floorboards. Congratulations! Talk to the Girls Run These Worlds people. I have nothing to do with that part. But congratulations, and I hope you enjoyed the game. It's really fun. So let's see a couple of announcements before we head off to our raid. So there is a casting call for Numenera. It says GM Angela is waiting to take you soaring into the world above the impenetrable cloud cover and perhaps exploring beyond that. Join her for a 6-episode run of Numenera. I hope I'm saying that right. A cipher system game by Montacook. Also, Cryptid Creeks is in the last 60 something hours at this point of their Kickstarter, which launched on September 5th, smashing all of its stretch goals in the blink of a giant octopus's eye. And we cooked up something with Hashing Games to showcase this adventurous new system. Check out the YouTube exclusive with JC Darcy, Liv Kennedy, Gask, Ida, and Mo, and then back the Kickstarter to get your hands on the game yourself. It ends in 2 days, so make sure to back it if you want it. Additionally, one other small thing, Roll for Good is a charity stream. They do wonderful charity work twice a year. Their next stream is on October 21st, and if you want to submit a short promo video, maximum 1 minute for during the breaks, the deadline to submit is on Sunday the 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely do that if you want. Anyway, I believe that we are going to go ahead and do a raid. Maybe?
Waiting on final confirmation.
I have been informed that I pronounced Numenaria correct, or Numenaria, that I said it wrong correctly. But yay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Behind the scenes shenanigans happening.
RPG Geeks D&D is who we are rating. There we go. So be sure to stick around for the raid. Just give them lots and lots of love from Girls Run These Worlds. And thank you so much for watching. Next week is our final session of The Secret Life of the Tuffets. So be sure to come on by and give that a watch. Let's see. RPG Geeks is playing Good Society in Space. What? I want to watch that.
Dang.
That sounds awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick around for that. That sounds so cool. But anyway, thank you for watching and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.